Hi, 5th grade. Today in math, we are doing lesson 8.9, and it is over rectangular prisms and cubic units. That's what we're going to be using today, but we are talking about rectangular prisms. Before we jump into rectangular prisms, we are going to first recap from yesterday. So yesterday, we were talking about rectangles. You have been working with rectangles for a long, long time. They're just flat rectangle shapes on the paper. So let's recap our rectangles first. Yesterday, we talked about how to find perimeter. Remember, perimeter is around the outside of a rectangle. So to find that, I add up all the sides, the length plus the length plus the width plus the width. That should be a recap. That's what we talked about yesterday. In addition to perimeter, we can also find the area of a rectangle, which is how much is on the inside. And to find the inside, we actually multiply the length times the width. Remember, area is a key word that means to multiply. So obviously we would need to multiply this side times this side to find the area. I wanted to do a couple of practice with these with some decimals and some fractions just so that we make sure we remember how to do that. So first, looking at this rectangle, it has some missing sides. Let's get those filled in. This side would have to be 3 because this side is 3. And my bottom here would have to be 12.7 because the top is 12.7 and it's a rectangle, so we know they're the same. First, it's asking for P equals. P obviously stands for perimeter, so I need to add up all the sides. 12.7 plus 3. Now I could put 0.0. If it bothers you that there's no decimal, add a decimal, 0.0. Another 12.7 and another 3.0. I'm just adding all of these up, starting at the back, just like normal. So 7 and 7 would be 14. Put my 4, carry my 1, just like normal addition. I'm going to put my decimal down because that's where it goes. 1 and 2 and 3 and 2 and 3. So all of that together, let's see, that's 5 and 5, 10, 11. So put my 1, carry my 1. And then I have a 1, 1, and 1, so that would be a 3. So my perimeter would be 31.4. And then I'm looking for my label. I always have to put a label here. This time I'm in centimeters. So perimeter would be 31.4 centimeters. I am also being asked to find the area of this rectangle. So remember, that means one side times the other. 12.7 would make more sense to go on top when I stack these up because it has more numbers. So I'm going to put 12.7 times 3. I don't need to add 0.0 or anything. Just multiply it like normal, and then I'll put my decimal where it needs to go. 3 times 7 is 21. 3 times 2 is 6, plus 2 more is 8. 3 times 1 is 3. So 381, I do have a decimal right here, which means in my answer it needs to go right here. So I would get 38.1. Then I'm looking for my label. This is area. So remember, I have to say square centimeters. Area, I always use square and then whatever unit of measurement I am using. Alrighty, let's jump over and try one more. This one involves some fractions on the side. First, I have to find the area. I switched up the order here on you, so pay close attention. Area is length times width. So I need to take this times this. Remember, it's easier to break it apart. So first, take your big number. So 6 times 2. Then do my fraction. So 6 times 2/3. If you break, or 3/5, sorry. 6 times 3/5. If you break it apart, it makes it a lot easier to then get your final answer. First, let's do our 6 times 2. That's going to be a 12. And then 6 times 3/5 is going to be 18/5. Remember, big number times the top, bottom stays the same. And today, I'll let you leave it improper. You don't need to fix it. So I just need to smush these together. 12 and 18/5 is going to be my area. I'm searching for my label because I know I have to have one when I'm doing area and perimeter. And this is area, so square inches. I kind of had to write it like that to make it fit, but I need to make sure it says square inches because this is the area. Next, they're asking me to find perimeter, but I notice I have some empty sides, so we better get those filled in. This side would be 2 3/5 because it's a rectangle, same as the other side. And the bottom would be a 6. Now I'm ready to go. I'm just going to stack these up. I'm going to have to do it over here on the side of my paper though because I'm kind of out of room. So we have a 6, a 2 3/5. So put my big number here. Fractions go on this side. Just make sure you line them up nicely. Another 6 and another 2 3/5. Adding all that up to get the perimeter, starting on my fraction side first. 3/5 and 3/5 is 6/5. Remember, I'm letting you leave it improper today so it can stay like that. And then 6, 2, 6, and 2, that would be 16. So 16 and 6/5 is my perimeter. Then I'm looking for that label because I know I have to have one. And this is in inches, not square inches because this is just the perimeter. So 16 and 6/5 inches. I went through those pretty quickly because this is a recap of our rectangles from yesterday. So if you're still struggling with area and perimeter, you can go back and watch the lesson 8.8 video to help you out with that if you need more instruction. But that is recap. Today, we are looking at rectangular prisms. So these are like a rectangle except they're 3D, like a box. You'll notice these look like little 3D boxes, rectangles. On a flat rectangle, we can calculate the perimeter or the area. On a rectangular prism, we calculate what is called volume. And volume is the amount of little cubes that can fit in there. That's what volume means. How much can fit inside of that rectangular prism. So I'm going to show you how we calculate the volume. First, we want to count the number of cubes in this first layer. So I always count the layer that's facing me. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 cubes in that first layer. So I got 10 cubes in the layer. Then I need to see how many layers there are. So if I look at the side, there's 1 layer, 2 layers. It's 2 layers deep. So I would take 10 times 2, and that's going to tell me there are 20 cubes that could fit in that rectangular prism. 20 cubes that could fit in there. So if I was building this out of little tiny blocks, it would take me 20 blocks to build it. That tells me the volume is 20 cubic units. So kind of like we do with area, we have to say square units, square inches, square centimeters, whatever it is we're measuring in. When we do volume, we label it cubic because it's little cubes, and then whatever units. Today, we don't know if it's centimeters, inches, feet, any of those things, so we're just going to say units. Okay, let's try another one on the next one. So first, I'm going to count how many cubes are on the front layer that I see. I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 cubes on that front layer. And then I'm going to see how many layers there are. So there's 1 layer, 2 layers because it's too deep. So 12 times 2, that means there's going to be 24 cubes that make up that box. If I were to build that box with little cubes, it would take 24 of them. Now, if I want to write that as the volume, it means there's 24 because that's what volume means, how many little cubes can fit. And then my label has to be cubic units. I'm using units because I don't know what they're measuring in. If I knew this was centimeters, I would put cubic centimeters. Okay, let's try another one. So first, I like to count the part that I can see up here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. And I just realized you can't see that on my notebook. I'm sorry. Let me scooch that up and I'll count those again. So I'm going to count this layer that's facing me right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So there's 16 cubes in that layer. And then I'm going to count how many layers are there deep. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 layers deep. So I need to do 16 times 5 because there's going to be 16 in each one of those layers. Now, if I don't know 16 times 5, I need to work it out. We know how to multiply. That is 80. So the number of unit cubes, there's 80 cubes that could fit in that rectangular prism. So my volume would be 80 cubic units. However many cubes fit, that's the volume. That's exactly what volume means. It means how many cubes could fit into that rectangular prism, which remember is just a 3D rectangle, kind of like a box. Okay, we have one more here. First, I'm going to count the front layer that I can see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So there are 12 cubes in each layer. And then I'm going to look, how many layers are there going back? There's 1, 2, 3. So it's 3 layers thick. So I need to do 12 times 3 because each one of those layers going back is going to have 12 blocks in it. So 12 times 3 is 36. So there's 36 cubes that can fit into my rectangular prism there, which means my volume would be 36 because it's the same number of cubes. Cubic units. I have to be careful on my label. If we're doing volume, my label is cubic units in this case because we don't know. But eventually we would know like centimeters, inches, and I would say cubic and then whatever I'm measuring in. Okay, so look at the side that's facing you, count those, and then see how many layers deep there is, and you'll multiply by that because each layer is going to have the same amount of blocks because it's a cube, a rectangular prism. It's going to have the same, it's going to be equal. Alrighty, if you need to rewatch that to really see how I'm counting or how I'm getting those numbers, make sure that you rewatch, and then you can start on your assignment. Good luck. Bye.